Yeah, Rich, glad you could join us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, another Get It Right webinar. Tonight's Kick Catch Interference with Bob Arnone. I think this is number 6 of the 10 sessions. Next week, we're going to move next week's session from Tuesday to Monday night at 5 p.m. Because of scheduling conflicts. So we'll send out an email. Should be the same link as it's been for the last 5 weeks. We're just going to move it up one day. Ken?
Yeah, again, Bob, thank you for spending the evening with us and letting us see your software. And he's going to put his website in the chat box if anybody wants to get a hold of him or look at the sample program. He's actually got a sample you can log on and check it out and demo it. Dennis, tell us what's happening Thursday evening.
So on Thursday, we'll have our webinar with player official communication from the player's perspective. We'll have a University of New Mexico special teams running back that will come on and talk some bullet points of what a player expects from officials. That should be interesting, something nobody's done here yet. And next Tuesday would be forward progress. So, Bob, it's all yours.
All right. Okay. Simple little topic tonight. We're going to talk about kick catch interference. And one thing that dawned on me this morning as I was thinking about what all I was going to try to cover on this tonight, I was thinking about offensive and defensive pass interference, and it dawned on me that for kick catch interference, no contact is required. So that's actually kind of the animations that I've got to show tonight. Now, obviously, if somebody plows into a receiver before he touches the ball, you've got a problem there. But let's look at what happens here what can happen here on a free kick. Again, we're looking for a ball that's in flight. It hasn't touched the ground. The ball is in or beyond the neutral zone for the free kick. And K shall not touch the ball or touch R or obstructs R's path to the ball. So one of the trends that I was seeing is that kicking teams will do this little pooch kick, get it just past this front line here, and then they're hoping that ball goes obviously more than 10 yards and hitting the ground, and then the kicking team can recover. So what we'll see here, ball's kicked in flight. This is not a pop-up kick. So they kick it straight off the tee, kick it up in the air. That's a legal kick. It goes more than 10 yards. But while the ball's in flight, now you have to remember the kicking team catching that ball. And the thing is, there's nobody there in the area. It doesn't matter. K can't catch that ball in midair during the free kick. That's kick catch interference. And when we started seeing a lot of those down here in Alabama, we just had to remind everybody that was up on that on any of those free kick lines to keep that in mind, that we need to drop a flag on that. So the receiving team will not only get the ball, but there's going to be 15 yards tacked onto that. So that's on a free kick catch interference on there. So just like any other kickoff, remind yourselves this is a kick. Something screwy is going to happen, and think about all those situations in your mind there.
Bob, can you pull up the rule and read the rule on that?
Yep. 6-5-6. Any free kick is in flight. The ball has not touched the ground. The ball is in the neutral zone or beyond the neutral zone, all the way back to the receiver's goal line. And again, K cannot touch that ball in flight. You can't touch R unless he's blocked into him or warding off a block, or obstruct R's path to the ball. So again, in this situation here, we're just running it where even nobody is there. And K is catching that ball in flight. So even, maybe this guy here could have been trying to get to the ball, and if he obstructed his ability to get to that ball, that'd be kick catch interference as well. And none of this requires a fair catch signal. So it's ball's in the air, K's got to let that sucker hit the ground before they can recover it. We good, Dennis?
Thank you.
Okay, scrimmage kicks. This is also in the same rules, 6-5-6. We'll have a scrimmage kick in flight. Again, the ball isn't touching the ground. Ball is in or beyond the neutral zone to the receiver's goal line. Again, K cannot touch the ball, touch R, or obstruct R's path to the ball. So what we're going to see here on this one, there's the kick. He kicks it high, kicks it short, trying to pin the receivers deep on their side of the field there. Then this guy catches the ball, but there's a receiver right here in the area. So that's one of those judgment calls we're going to have to make when we go on playthrough here about obstructing R's path to the ball. The receiver has to have the opportunity to go catch that ball. So how close is that? How is that looking to us? Do we believe that our player is indeed trying to get in position to make that call? Just remember to think through what that looks like and what the rule says. Is this K player getting to that ball and not letting R get to that? So that could be ruled kick catch interference on that.
Could we have the end zone view on that?
Yep.
And then after the end zone view, if you could pull it up on the back judge's view.
Yep. Do you split your receivers?
That's a back judge question.
In this case, yes.
Yeah, 43 here is just trying to cause a distraction, but the ball's coming down in this area in here. So yeah, that receiver, that member of the receiving team, looks like he's just social distancing there. So you can make a case that K got to that ball quicker and could have kept that receiver from trying to get that ball. What do y'all think?
So
Remember that?
are we gonna throw a flag on KCI if there's not a receiver in the area and that kicking player catches the ball in flight, or we're just gonna be one of those?
Well,
We talk to them and just take the receiving team will take the ball there. I don't know. I'm asking the question. So
yeah, watch the one here on the right. Here, there's no receivers in the area. So it's just a member of the kicking team went up there and caught the ball there at the 28-yard line. That's not a problem. The ball is dead. Now it's going to belong to the receiving team, but the receiving team will pick it up right there at the 28-yard line. I'll take that off playthrough and run the comparison here again. So ball's in flight. No member of the receiving team in the area on the right. We do have a member of the receiving team over here on the left. And then K catches that ball in flight. So now you just kind of make that call of easy one on the right, ball's dead, belongs to or at that point. But over here on the left, was that member of the receiving team restricted just because K got in the area to kick that ball or to catch that ball? Make that call. And Dennis, you could have a case on that of just talking to that member of the kicking team there that says you could have had kick-catch interference. But again, we got to make that call as to whether that or member right there could have had the opportunity to catch that ball. So that's a tough one right there. Any other thoughts on this? That really does kind of take care of, I guess if you see the receiver give you that signal, like what the heck happened, and we're supposed to throw a flag, right? So, we kind of added that in. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts?
I sure like the software.
One more thing on the kick-catch interference. Let me take this out of. Yeah, thank you, Ken. Let's pretend that this guy back here was the punter, punting this direction, and we have kick-catch interference here. So now it's going to belong to the receiving team. We're going to tack 15 yards on it and go this way. Okay. So now we're going to be down here about the 13-yard line, thereabouts. So now we can have an awarded fair catch. And then the receiving team would be able to have a
field goal opportunity.
Field goal opportunity, but they'd be in a free kick formation.
Free kick, yeah.
Yep. So they're going to be 10 yards apart. And we seem to have one of those down here about every 2 or 3 years.
We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And then from a mechanics perspective, that always causes us some confusion down here as to who's under the uprights, who's watching the goal line, and who's watching the free kick lines. So talk about that during your association meetings as to the positioning on something like that.
Is there any back judges from our association that have anything to add to mechanic-wise?
Mechanic to which part? The first one we ran through?
Just anything you want to address. It could be on any kick-catch interference or any play, anything.
I think to Bob's point, it's something we pregame and it's a judgment call. If we're talking about the, prior, not if we're kicking from the goal line, but back to the original. If I see the receiver trying to get into an area and make a catch, that's different than if I see a receiver watching where his guy that he's supposed to block goes and not really tracking to the ball. And at this point, if it's a short kick, normally our wings would pick up the short kick and help because the back judge would be deep with the deepest receiver. So in this case, when the wing releases, I'd ask for help on that short ball. Be aware that, if the receiver is, in any way interrupted an opportunity to catch the ball, then we have KCI. But if the receiver is making no attempt to catch a ball, then we might just talk to him and let the defender know, hey, I see you caught that ball. But if that receiver had made an effort or got in a closer, in this area, I don't, if they're shoulder to shoulder, that's one thing, but here they're a couple yards apart. And in the video, the receiver makes no attempt to track the ball, find the ball, or get under the ball. It seems like he's just following the guy he's supposed to block. But, to Bob's point, it's a judgment call.
Hey, Sean, in a varsity game, are you seeking out the punt returner or special teams coach to have a conversation with them prior to kickoff?
If I have time, yes. And if I don't have time on the first punt, I'm already down there talking to him, reminding him what need to see a good fair catch signal, if anything, reminding him that, I'm here and I'm, aware. And, most of my pregame with the wing and myself for scrimmage kicks are getting help on a short kick. And because I'm going to, go stay with the receiver. Versus, if I go long with the ball, then, I'm going to stay with the ball, and the receiver, the short wing is going to help out with just what those players are doing. My conversation with the punt returner is more in tune of proper fair catch signal. In this case, we want to be, reminding the kicking team, don't get a silly KCI foul for, being near, someone that could legally catch a ball, which I think that's just the black and white of the rule. Philosophy is, did he really go make an attempt to catch the ball? Was he really a receiver? Or was he just, lost because the guy he was supposed to block saw the ball and went and caught the ball?
Yeah, that's legit.
Thank you, Sean. Any line of scrimmage officials have anything to add to short kicks and their mechanics or their coverage assistance on it? Okay, Bob.
Yeah, that's all I had for this evening. And let's see, next week we'll talk about forward progress.
Great. Well, if nobody has anything else to add, again, these are small 20, 30-minute webinars. Get us in the rule book. We're pushed back to February. We will run a football camp, August 14th and 15th. We have, I think, 9 spots left, no referee spots. We're running 7 crews of 5-man mechanics. If anybody's interested, we will put those 7 crews on the field in February before the season starts for a on-field clinic with the Division I evaluators and crew mentors. So registration will close on Sunday if anybody's interested. And again, next week, we're moving this from Tuesday to Monday because of scheduling conflicts. 5 p.m. Get it right, forward progress. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Good night.